Hello everyone. In a minute there follows a video of how I put together my Valentine keepsake box. But before we move on to that video, I thought I'd just show you on the screen in the Cricut design space what the pieces look like in the layout and tell you what they all are. So all the grey pieces are the chipboard pieces that I used as the basic construction for the box, and I cut those all out on my Cricut using a deep cut blade and the chipboard setting in the custom settings. This is the base of the box and these are the sides of the base. This is the top of the box and these are the sides of the top. These are all the construction strips. These are just cut out of basic cardstock, black cardstock, because it was black chipboard actually, and these are the ones for the lid and the corners, and these are the ones for the base and the sides of the base, and you'll see those in the video in a moment. The coloured pieces are all the linings for the top and the inside of the base, that's these ones, and the lid, that's these over here. These are the decorative scallops that are on the edge of the base, and these are the decorative ones that are on the top of the lid. This is the little decorative locket that I added at the end, which you'll see in the video. This is the Cupid, which I used as a decoration on the inside of the base of the box. And finally, this is the decorations for the lid. They're cut out in several pieces and layered, and you'll see how I do those in the video that follows as well. So, on to that video, and I hope you enjoy it. Good morning, this is Cherry in Florida, and my project for today is a little Valentine trinket box. So I thought I'd better get that on now because we're about 9 days from Valentine's Day. So you can make this in Design Space. I've shared the file so you can cut the whole thing out in Design Space. This was my first prototype, not a Valentine one. I just wanted to try out the file and see how it worked, and so I tried that one. It's made from chipboard, the base of the box, so it's very sturdy, and it makes a nice little gift or as I say, a sort of keepsake box or even a gift box. So there we are, and it's 6 by 6 inches basically by about 3 inches tall. So then I progressed on to a Valentine box, and this was my first Valentine box, and it came out rather nicely, so I thought that's the file I'm going to put on Design Space. This one looks like this inside. It's got a Cupid decoration in the bottom as a sort of surprise when you open the box, and it's all lined, and then it has this little heart decoration attached by a ribbon on the front underneath this decoration here. So I'm going to do this one. I've got different papers for this one, and I've constructed part of it so that it's not too boring for you. But if you look on the file on Design Space, you'll find there are pieces like this. There's one for the top and one for the bottom. The top one is slightly bigger, so that's how you know which are which, because that's the lid and it's got to fit over the bottom. There are 4 pieces like this. These are all cut from chipboard, by the way, and you can cut that on your Cricut. I used the deep cut blade, and I looked up the custom setting for heavy chipboard and it worked fine. This is a medium weight black chipboard, graphics chipboard from not eBay, Amazon, and you can get it from there. And then there are 4 pieces like this that make the sides of the box. And then they have chipboard, and then there are several cardstock pieces that are construction strips for the lid and the base. So these are side ones for the lid, for example, and then there are small corner ones for the lid. I think there are 8 of those. There were 4 of these, no, 8 of all of them actually, I believe. And then the base has these, they're all scored when you cut them out, and you have to crease them down the centre. And these are the construction strips for the base, as are these, but I will show you how it works in a moment. So here's my base. I've already attached 3 of the sides and a couple of the decorative pieces, just so that it doesn't take too long on camera and it gets boring. And you do all of them the same. I'm just going to attach the last one now. So you need to get one of your construction strips like this, and first of all I'm going to put one on the inside. If you find it's a little bit tight, you can cut it down slightly. And I'm just going to glue it. Where have I put my glue? That's one thing I didn't get ready already. Just a second. I'm just using white tacky glue today, but you can use score tape if you like, or you can use the art glitter glue or any of those things, but for a box this works just as well. So I'm going to glue all the way down this strip, making sure I get right up into the corners, and put enough glue on each side. And I'm going to put it first of all on the base, and then I'm going to attach this piece. Make sure you can see that. This piece here. Whoops. Let's try again. Instead of looking at the camera, I'll look what I'm doing. And this piece here. Make sure that's firmly stuck down. It's easier to do it on the inside first. Then I've got these pieces for each of these inside pieces here. So once I've made sure my top and side are properly lined up, I think I've stuck this a little. Let's move it over a bit and try again. I like it. That's better. Right, and so now I'm going to put those on the inside on each of those 2 corners. Stick that there, make sure it lines up properly on the score line at the corner, and then again make sure your sides line up nice and neatly there, and press that into place. Like that. Like that. Perhaps black isn't the best colour to show you, but I think you get the idea. And I'm going to do the same on this corner over here. Try and make it right up to the edges and the corners, on each side so that it stays to there. And stick that on the inside here too, and make sure that all the edges match up nice and neatly, pushing it into the corner as you go on the inside. Now, it's just about stuck. I've got a little piece. I haven't pushed it quite down to the bottom, so I'm just going to cut this little edge piece off. Right, now we've got this basically stuck together, but to make it even stronger and neater, we're going to stick the same kind of pieces on the outside. So there's going to be one there, and one across the bottom. So I'm going to stick the one across the bottom first. There we are. So this one's going on here, across there, and the excess glue off, make sure it lines up at the ends and the corners, and that hides out any imperfections on the previous action on the inside. And then we're going to do the same on each corner here. So stick those in place. Make sure it goes into the corners, and stick that corner on here. Making sure it's nice and neat. Matches up. There we are. That's that one. And one more over here. So, here we go. At last. That's the bottom finished when we get this one on. Oops, there's a corner I didn't catch. Stick that down. And there. So now we've got the nice sturdy box, and we can stick the decorations on. So on this one, on the inside, I have, can you see it? Where are we? That paper, so, which is this one. So I'm going to stick that on the inside, on all four sides. This will be a lot quicker, I think. It says hopefully. One on each side, on the inside. Fits better on this one. Another one, let me just check that this is, that fits. Okay. sometimes they need a tiny trim, because depending which way round you stick the chipboard at the corners, sometimes it's slightly smaller on one side than on another. But this one seems to fit okay. Stick it in. Is it to stick in there? Right. Actually, I think I will trim just the tiniest bit off that one. I think it will fit a little easier then. Yes, it does. Okay, I'll do that one time. Nope, I still don't like it. I'll trim a little bit more. A little bit more glue, just to show that everything doesn't go always perfectly. I'm sure that it's going to fit this time. And yes, it does. Okay, so that's that one, and we have one more. Stuck that on the different side. And we have one more, just as I said. You didn't see that, that was just a little patch. And that's all on the inside. That's the inside decorated, except we also have this. This is like on the other one. I've used a sort of prismatic silver background, and I've glued the little cupid to it, and a little heart, which is one of the, oh, there's a little heart cut out, I think, on the file you'll find. And I stuck him on with spray adhesive, but the previous one I stuck on with tiny dots of white glue, so you can do it either way, whichever you find easier. And that's going into the base. And I'm not going to waste your time by sticking him down now, but you can see he fits into the base nicely. And then on the outside I've got 4 stripy pieces of paper, and then you'll find 4 decorated scallops like this, which I've stuck together. They're in 2 layers, and then I've stuck them to the bottom, and they're going on the outside like this. So I'll just do those quickly. There you go, on the outside like this, on each of the sides, which again covers up any tiny pieces you don't like very much. It makes it all neat and tidy. I find that there's a little narrow black edge there because I've used black chipboard. And again. And make sure you get it the right way up, because that's my favourite trick, sticking things on upside down or back to front. And again, just leaving a slight gap down each side. And there's just a little tiny border in each one. There we are. And finally, this one. And there's the last one, and that's our decorated base, the box, and there it is. Oh, and then I have a piece to stick on the bottom, which is this one, which I left over here, and that is going to go on the bottom. But I'm not going to glue that on now, I'll do that afterwards, again to save a bit of time on the video. So now we're left with the lid, and it's the same process for the lid. We've got this piece that needs to stick onto here, and line it up, get your construction strip, put that on, making sure you get up into the corners, add a small amount of glue all over, and I usually stick it to the box lid first. And it's another one that needs a slight snip off. Trying it, yep, that's better. And I make sure that it's up to the side where the score line is here, and get that lined up, and then I stick this to it, like that, and push it up to the box lid, and then when you turn it up it should fit nice, and it does. And I'm going to do the inside ones again first. They're these little pieces. Get myself on camera properly. On each corner here. Hold them till they're nice and firmly stuck. You can put clips on if you want to. I've got some like these to hold them in place. And then again, final corner on the inside here, making sure it goes right up into the corner, push it in there with your nail, and that it's a nice fit. And then the outside construction strips, I put the long ones on first. This, as I say, helps neaten it all up and strengthen it. Make sure up in the corners, like that, and stick that on. The second ones are always easier to put on than the first ones are, because you've already got it in shape. Make sure that's nice and firmly stuck. Hold it in place for a few minutes until it's firmly adhered. Right, that's okay. And then the corners. Okay, don't be mean with your glue, but you don't want it oozing out everywhere either, so enough that it sticks firmly, but not so much that I've got it oozing out at every side. And there we are. That's that one, and here's the last one. Silly me, put that on the wrong side, but fortunately you can make the score bend either way. Corners. Don't neglect those corners, because they'll be the ones that will come under. And there's the last corner. So there's my lid. Whoops. Okay. Did say hold it in place, didn't I? Till it's really firmly stuck. There. I'm just trying to rush a bit so that you don't get too bored. Right. Now we have these decorative pieces for the lid. So I'm going to put that one in. I don't think it matters at the moment. I'm going to stick that one in first. This is, by the way, die cuts with a view, paper called blackcurrant, but I don't know whether they still do that one. I really do like the colours of it, and it's quite nice change for a Valentine from just away from the pink a bit. And these are the inner decorative strips around the edges. I'm going to try and get them all facing upwards, the pattern running the same way out towards the edge of the lid. That one looks like it could go on the opposite side. Corners and edges. Right, there we are. And one more here. And that's the inside of the lid done. Well, it is when I've stuck it on. So, let's see how that goes. Yep, there we are. That looks nice. What do you think? There's the inside of the lid. Now the outside, I have these decorative strips, and this time I stuck the decorative bit on the top rather than on the bottom, like I did on this one. So I'm going to stick them that way around and stick all those on, glue those on, up in the corners, down to the sides. There we go. There's one. One. Again, there's a little bit of a gap on all sides, and there's two. On that side. There. And it's a little bit too close to one end. The other, let's centre it up a bit. That's better. Okay, and finally this one. We're nearly there. And here we are. There's the final one. Centre that. A little gap on each end and centre it. That's it. There's the lid. Now we've got the top decoration. So this was cut out in several pieces on your Cricut. There were these two pieces first, and these I'm just gluing flat to the top, but I have a piece that they're supposed to stick onto. It's not that one. It's not meant to be that one. Let me see. I guess that would work, so perhaps we'll use that. Yes, I'm going to use that. I think I had a different piece, but I don't know where it is now, so I'm going to use this. Okay, let's stick this on first. You should have a square piece that fits under your pattern piece. I'll use this. It's a habit. Here to hand already, and I think it'll look okay. And then this fits on the top. This one. So I'm going to do that. Glue doesn't want to flow so easily this morning, but it's getting there. Put that in the centre of that. And then the next 3 pieces I cut in a silver, in a pink metallic that looks like this. And then I've got a Cricut glitter cardstock, which I really like. It cuts really, really well. And that made this piece. And that, I've stuck a piece of chipboard on the back just to raise it slightly. I prefer that to the foam strips and pieces because it's, firstly it's firmer, and secondly it doesn't show so easily under the. So I'm actually just going to glue. Well, it seems my camera stopped recording. I think the battery was flat, so I've started it up again. I'm not quite sure what you missed, but I was just saying that I'd stuck this decorative piece on with a piece of chipboard underneath it just to raise it slightly. And the last decorative piece, again it's cuts out in 3 pieces on your Cricut, and I have put 3 little pieces of chipboard on the back of that one to raise it up just a bit more. As I say, I prefer chipboard because it's firmer and because it doesn't show so much under the layers, and that's going to go on the top. But I forgot. Where did I put? Oh, it's alright, we're at this point. There's also another decorative piece to go on here, which is temporarily hiding. And this is the heart, like a locket, which I've doubled it up on both sides, as you can see. And I put a small piece of Hug Snug seam binding in it, and I'm going to put it over the edge of the box so that when the box is closed it just dangles over the side like that. So I'm going to tape that onto this top part with a little piece of black this masking tape. You could use score tape or you can glue it on. Whoops, it's fallen off. First, before I put the final decoration on. So that's going to be just about the other way up, just about here, like that. Yes, I think that's about where I want it. Just tape it into place, but make sure it's not going to show underneath the decorative piece you're just about to put on. It's a good reason to use black tape maybe. And then I'm going to glue this bit onto the top. But before I do that, I have another piece of seam binding here, and I'm going to tie a bow around the top of the locket part separately. You can see that. I don't know if I can do it back to front, I'll try. And just above the locket part, I put a bow there. and then trim off the ends. Like that. And now I'm going to glue this to the top to hold that in place. And this is so. Again, just on the chipboard, not on the decorative piece itself, because that's the part I'm raising up. This time I'm putting quite a large amount of glue to make sure it sticks firmly, and that's going there. Like that. And when you open the box, there's the Cupid inside. Now, I got these little pearls just from the Dollar Tree. I'm not going to do it now, but you can see I'm going to put them, and I may actually glue them on because I don't trust their glue very much. In between each piece here. See, there, I just stuck one on. And I'm going to go around all the sides of the box and stick those on in between each raised part, because I think that's quite attractive. And finally, on this one I think I'm going to put feet. These are Tim Holtz corner feet. 4 of them here. I'm not going to attempt to glue them on now because really the box needs to be upside down and they need to be glued on and kept in place. So I've just put a little piece of poster putty on each of them just to show you what it would look like, and I'm just going to press them into place for now. See, I hope they'll stay enough to show you. Not sure they will. One. No, I don't think they're going to stay. But I think you get the idea that they would probably look quite nice on the 4 corners, especially if they were on the front for you to see better. Like that. This putty's probably dried out a bit. I got it ready early and now it's not sticking the corners into place. But I will glue them properly into place later. And for now, I'm just about see if I can get them to stick. Well, I'm going to have to show you. One more. Fingers crossed. They're kind of stuck. And that's what it would look like. And so, take them off again for now. That's my finished box. And I hope you have a go and that you enjoy making it. So bye from Cherry in Florida.